and then get traded that following year. That's crazy, man. And Marlins, man, they not shy of pulling the trigger. They last time traded Miguel Cabrera. They had Miguel Cabrera down there and traded him to the Tigers. And look what all the stuff he did in the Tigers. Won a World Series, couple MVPs. So Marlins, man, Miami, man. I know they sick down there, man. Y'all got to get it together. Can we trust Derek Jeter? We don't know. We got to see, but he cleaned house. Ain't nothing wrong with cleaning house, so we see what happens. But right now, and keeping it in baseball, right now the baseball winter meetings are going on. For those who don't know too much about baseball, in the winter meetings, that's when all the moves start happening. So right now, two things that I'm hearing out there is my Mets, New York Mets, they're trying to trade one of their ace pitchers, the Dark Knight, Matt Harvey. Got to keep an eye on that. And then also, local boy here, well, not local, but he plays for this team here in Baltimore, third baseman, Manny Machado. What's going to happen with him now? Because there was talks he was going to go to the Yankees. But now I don't think the Yankees could afford him now that they got Stan. So something to keep an eye on, see what's going to happen. I know the Mets need a third baseman, so I don't mind taking Machado either, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Keep an eye on that. All right, what we got going on next, champ?
Who you think will win a national championship?
Woo! Who you think will win a national championship? Now, I know a couple weeks ago, I gave you the 4 picks who was going to play, but I got one of them wrong. We got Alabama versus Clemson. Who you got on that one?
Alabama.
You got Alabama? That's the rematch from last year.
Yeah.
They don't got no Deshaun Watson, so I roll with you. I got Alabama. And who you got out of Oklahoma and Georgia?
Georgia.
You got Georgia?
Georgia, yeah.
Woo! I got Oklahoma. And then for the national championship, I got Alabama, Oklahoma. Now there, I'm a little torn. I don't really know who's going to win that game. If I had to flip a coin, I'm going to go with the Oklahoma, man. That boy Mayfield, man.
Oh, no.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You got Oklahoma being Atlanta? Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you didn't realize. All right. Yeah.
I forgot Mayfield was
Mayfield, man. That boy's a bad boy. So I see Oklahoma versus Alabama, and I'm just going to keep going with Oklahoma. I think, the boys, man, he's having a magical year. He just won the Heisman Trophy. Now, we got a couple other bowl games. Read out some of those bowl games, and let's go ahead and make some selections.
The Valero Alamo Bowl.
When is it? When is that one? December 28th?
Yeah.
Okay.
At 9 o'clock on ESPN. Number 13, Stanford versus number 15, TCU.
All right. So we got Stanford versus TCU.
Yeah.
Who you rolling with?
Stanford.
I'm rolling with Stanford. I want to see what my man Love do running back out of Stanford. I mean, it's going to be his last game to show out and show the NFL teams why they should pick him and one of the top selections in the draft. What's the next game?
Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Number 8 USC versus number 5 Ohio State.
All right. Now, the reason why I'm real interested in that game is because the quarterback for USC is one of the quarterbacks that my boys, New York Giants, are going to be looking at. So, and to be honest with you, I don't know too much about this quarterback for USC, but I am going to be paying attention to this game. Plus, they play Ohio State at Buckeyes, so it should definitely be a good game on December 29th. What's the next highlight game we want to pay attention to?
The Tax Slayer Bowl, Louisville versus number 23, Mississippi State.
All right. So, I mean, with that game, who you got?
Louisville.
I got Louisville too, man. I mean, I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan, man. I love him to death. He actually had better numbers than he had last year when he won the Heisman Trophy. The only thing with him and a lot of NFL teams, they're a little unsure what kind of position they want him to play. So we'll see. But me, I think he could still be a quarterback in the NFL, but we'll see. But I'm definitely going to be watching that game. I definitely got Louisville over Mississippi State. What's the next big bowl game there?
PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, Washington versus number 11 Washington versus number 9 Penn State.
All right, who you got on there?
Penn State.
Penn State, man. We're going to be watching my boy Barkley.
Yeah.
See what he do. Him and Love, they're going to be battling out to give a real big impression to the national audience to see, hey, why I should be selected as one of the top running backs. So Barkley, I'm definitely going to be watching that game. I got Penn State beating Washington. What about the next bowl game?
Capital One Orange Bowl, number 10 Miami versus number 6 Wisconsin.
All right, so the Capital Bowl, we got Miami, Hurricanes versus Wisconsin. Who you got there?
I got Miami.
You got Miami?
Yeah.
I'm rolling with Miami, too. I think Miami is going to come out hungry. They're a little disappointed. The last few losses that they had, they definitely thought they had a shot at, the playoffs. We'll see what happens, but I'm definitely going to roll with Miami and see what happens. But Wisconsin, man, they no easy walk in the park either. So that's definitely going to be a good game on December 30th at 8 o'clock. And then what we got? What else? What's the next bowl game?
Michigan versus South Carolina, Outback Bowl on New Year's.
Okay, the Outback Bowl, we got Michigan versus South Carolina. That should be a pretty good game. Michigan always play tough versus South Carolina. Who you got?
Michigan.
Yeah, I'm rolling with South Carolina on this one. So we'll see what happens. That should definitely be a good game. What's the next bowl game we have there?
Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, number 12 UCF versus number 7 Auburn.
Right. So, yeah. So, number 12 UCF versus number 7 Auburn. Who you got?
Auburn.
I'm going with the Cinderella story. UCF, they had an undefeated season. Their coach just accepted a job for Nebraska, but this is going to be his last game playing. And let's not forget, USC had the number 1 scoring offense in all of college football. So I'm definitely going to roll with them, but it's going to be a tough game. Auburn, they're a little salty because they felt like they should have been in the playoffs as well. So we'll see what happens. But those are the bowl games coming up for those who like college football. Those are the ones that we highlighted. There's a couple more going on, but I felt let's talk about the ones that are important. And then you got the national championship coming up, and we already made our predictions on that one. So, college football, like always, very entertaining around this time, so let's keep an eye on that. What we got next, champ?
Who you think are the winners and losers in Week 14?
In the NFL. So now we're talking about football, the big boys. So let's start off with, I always like to talk about the team from here, Baltimore. They had a real big game, prime time, Sunday night against one of their rivals, Steelers. What was the final score there?
39-38.
39-38 Steelers. It was a hell of a game, man. Last, it was won by a field goal, last couple seconds. It was a good game, man. It was your normal battle from Baltimore and Steelers, you know what I mean? You couldn't walk away from this game disappointed. Both teams put it out there on the line. Flacco played pretty good. Big Ben played pretty good. Defense on both sides. You can't say defense on both sides played real good when each team almost scored 40 points. Yeah. But, it was still a pretty good game overall. But Big Ben, man, he had over 500 passing yards. He's the only quarterback ever in the league to have over 500 passing yards in 3 different games. So you got to give it to Big Ben, man. Those Hall of Fame credentials right there. So Ravens, they still in the hunt. We're going to talk about the playoff hunt in a little bit. It's not over for them. Their window's still open. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure who they play next. You know who they play next? We'll find out who they play next.
Browns.
Oh, they play Cleveland Browns. So,
Browns, Colts, Bengals.
Brown, Colts, Bengals are the last 3 games for the Ravens.
Easy schedule.
That's an easy schedule. They should definitely beat Browns, Colts. Then that Bengal game is going to be a tough one because those divisional games. But Cincinnati ain't been doing nothing. So they could win out and put themselves in a nice position to get into the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. I know the Steelers next week, they play the Patriots. That's going to be a hell of a game. Everybody's going to be watching that game. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that because that could be they'll probably meet again in the playoffs if everything aligned right. So we'll see what's up. Huh?
I said Corey says the Ravens are going to win out.
Corey said the Ravens going to win out? All right, let's see. Hey, Corey, next week, man, make sure you on because if y'all lose to the Browns, nah, y'all should beat the Browns. Man, they will. But you never know. It's football, man. Any given Sunday, man.
Yeah.
The Browns looked pretty good last week. I'm not even gonna lie. With my man Josh Gordon coming back.
Finally scored a touchdown.
Yeah. So let's see what happens. All right, and then the game of the week. What was the game of the week, champ?
Philly against the Rams. Philly won 43-35, but Carson Wentz is now out for the season with a torn ACL.
Woo! Man. There go their season. Now, so that was the game of the week. I ain't gonna front. I was looking forward to watch the Rams versus Philly. You know, two top quarterbacks that got picked number 1 last year. They both had, good records. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a real good game. And it was. But then once Wentz went down, I was just like, oh, man. Then Nick Foles came in there. Nick Foles did good, though. They still won the game. He had 2 big plays in third down. So, but let me tell you right now, it is over for the Philadelphia Eagles. I've been watching sports all day, and they talking about, Nick Foles this, Nick Foles that. They could still make it to the Super Bowl. No, you won't. No, you won't. I'm sorry. Now, it's going to be easy for them because they're going to have that bye. So, Nick Foles really only got to play 2 games before they make it to the Super Bowl. But, yeah. No. Once they make it to the playoffs, it's only 2 games, make it to the Super Bowl. He still got 3 games to play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't see it happening. Nick Foles, he did have a magical year back in 2013, I believe. Pro Bowl. Then he got traded or he signed with the Rams. They let him go. And then he went to Kansas City last year with his old coach. And, they drafted homeboys, so they let him go. And now he's back in Philly. So he's a backup. You know what I mean? If you're going to put your money on the backup, put your money on the backup. But it's over, man, for Philly, man. So rest in peace. Rest in peace, Philly. All right, Saints, they had a Thursday night thriller. Well, I ain't going to say thriller, but everybody was looking forward to this game, playing against Atlanta. Wanted to see what they was going to do, and they lost. What was the final score? It was
20-17.
20-17, man.
Matt Ryan threw 3 interceptions, but Saints still lost.
And I couldn't understand that. Matt Ryan threw 3 picks. 3 picks. And the Saints couldn't capitalize, and they still lost the game 20-17. So Atlanta's still alive. They still showing, some fight in them. They still got to play the Saints one more time. So we'll see what happens. I was a little surprised at that. And then talking about the Browns, the Packers beat the Browns 27-21. Kaiser and them played pretty good. They almost won to that last couple seconds. Well, actually, they went to overtime, actually. It was tied up 21-21. And then Kaiser, man, he did a rookie mistake, man. He was about to get sacked on his back foot. He threw a pop-up. He just threw it up in the air as he was getting hit. And, of course, Packers, they got the ball at the 30-yard line. Here comes the rookie, well, not the rookie, but first-year quarterback, Hundley, came in, threw a nice little pass to Deontay Adams, did a little spin move, boom, scored touchdown. He ran all the way through the tunnel. He just kept running. So, and then they won the game. So, Browns came this close. Now, in regards to the Packers, what's going on next week for the Packers?
A-Rod's coming back.
A-Rod's coming back. Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be coming back. Now, his collarbone supposed to be all healed. They say he's been throwing real good in practice. We'll see what happens. The thing that you got to be worried about is if you get another lineman to land on you. Now, next week, I believe they play Minnesota Vikings. If it's not next week, it's the week after that. And Minnesota Vikings is the same team that hurt Aaron Rodgers. And, they're a rivalry, so they're going to bring the pressure and try to fall on them just to see if that collarbone's all together. But
yeah,
we'll see. The thing about Packers is with Aaron Rodgers in there, man, it could be scary. So if they get in the playoffs, anything can happen. And now they got a running game. We'll see what happens. So we'll keep our eyes on the Packers. What other game was going on?
Panthers beat the Vikings 31-24. Cam still finds ways to pay win games, and who you think should start for the next game for the Vikings, Keenum or Bridgewater?
Okay. All right. So we got a couple things here to discuss. So the Panthers beat the Vikings 31-24. It was a good game. You got two good teams, a battle the NFC East, right? Not the East, but the NFC. Panthers, they won. Everybody thought Minnesota was going to win. Actually, I made a real big mistake in one of my fantasy leagues, and I didn't even start Stewart. I thought Minnesota was going to stop the run game, and he had 3 touchdowns. I left 40 points on the bench in fantasy, but that's another story. Anyway, so Panthers still find a way to win. Vikings lost. Now everybody's talking about who will you start, Bridgewater or Casey Keenum. What you think?
I think you should let Bridgewater play one game in there.
Now it's three games left.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you don't trust your quarterback right now, Keenum, which nobody does, and you have Bridgewater back there, I think you should bring in him now, get a couple games under his belt, so when we get to the playoffs, he'll be ready. Don't wait till the last game of the season to try to put him in there, or come playoffs, put him in there, and he a little rusty. He hasn't played for a year and some change. So I think the decision should be made either this week or next week, and let Bridgewater get at least a game and a half under his belt, ready for the playoffs. But we'll see. I mean, Keenum, he didn't play bad. I mean, it was still a good game, 31-24. You know, defense didn't really step up like they should have, so it's not all on him. So he didn't have a bad game. So we'll see. Minnesota, they got big decisions to make. It's a lot of pressure, man. Jaguars beat Seattle 30-24.
Defense looking better and better.
Defense is looking real good for the Jaguars. Russell Wilson, I think he had like 2 or 3 picks in the first half. And then, you know, Russell almost came back with a little bit of magic like he always do, but it wasn't good enough. And Jaguars, man, I mean, I know everybody don't really like their quarterback, but he did pretty good, man. And with that defense, we'll see what happens. You know, they say defense win championships, so we'll see what happens to see if the Jaguars are really a good threat in when it comes to the playoffs. What other teams? What else?
Chargers beat the Redskins.
Chargers beat the Redskins 30-13. I mean, Chargers is like one of the hottest teams in the league right now. I'm not even gonna lie. From them starting 0-5 to where they at right now, I mean, you got to give them props, man. Phillip Rivers is playing like MVP, and nobody's talking about it. All right. But the Redskins, man, what's going on with the Redskins, man? Y'all falling apart, man. I mean, you guys, what's your excuse? You guys got pretty much the whole team. Yeah. What's your excuse? Huh? Redskin fans, I can't hear you. Huh? Oh, okay. Well, let's see what happens. But Chargers, man, that's a scary team, man. That's a scary team. You got a good quarterback. You got an all-pro running back. And then your defense, man, their defense is serious, man. They got 2 of the best rushers in the game right now, and Bosa and Gordon. Ingram. So Gordon is the running back. So let's see what the Chargers do. Let's see what happens. Another score we want to talk about, Dallas beat my New York Giants 30-10. Now, the Giants hung in there. It was 10-10 fourth quarter. All right, so we was in there. But then 2 plays turned around. Des Bryant, one-on-one with a rookie corner, made a move on him.
But it's also good to note that Eli was starting this game.
Yeah, so last week wasn't here, man. And last week, man, I was going to spend 20 minutes just talking about Eli. I have my Eli jersey and everything ready to go. You know what I mean? But, you know, so let's talk about that. Do you think the Giants organization disrespected Eli?
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. I mean, Eli's definitely on a decline. You know, as a Giant fan, I'm going to tell you right now, yes, we need to start looking for a new quarterback. But how they treated him, man, it was messed up. To mess up his streak of 210 games for 1 week, and then you put him right back again, man, it's crazy. But I'm glad that we fired our coach. I'm glad we fired our general manager. We're about to start from scratch. And I'm sorry, Eli, you're going to have to go as well. I'm pretty sure another team out there may give you a shot, but not in New York. It's time for you to go. But I would have never disrespected Eli the way the Giants disrespected that man 2 weeks ago. Put him on the bench. And you don't even have the talent around Eli. This man won you 2 Super Bowls, has 2 Super Bowl MVPs, has 210 consecutive games as a freaking quarterback. That's unheard of. Philly, can you feel me? Right. Thank you. Our quarterback is durable. Our quarterback's been there every freaking game. You don't get that a lot, man. To disrespect a legend like that, man, I was definitely disappointed. I had an attitude for at least 3 days. 3 days and a half to be exact. But he had a chance. He started yesterday. Giants had an opportunity. We lost. I don't want us to win no more games anyway, but it would have been sweet if we would have beat Dallas at least. But, we lost. Dallas looked good. Prescott looked good. Dez, he did all right. He just had one big play. But he dropped a couple balls like he always do. But Sean Lee, man, he came back, man. You see how valuable that linebacker is for that team, man. It's a whole different ball game when he's playing, man. So I think he had like 15 tackles. Every time I turned around, he was tackling somebody. I was like, damn, can somebody at least stop that, man? So we'll see. Now let's talk about the playoff hunt. All right, so who you think will make the playoff? Who's the odd man team out? Where's that sheet at? Where we got playoff hunt right here. All right, so looking at it, we already know Pittsburgh and Patriots, they safe. Then on the wild card right now, the Ravens, Titans, Jaguars, and the Chiefs. All right, so they all right now sitting there. Right now, the Titans, they 9-5, 8-5. Jaguars 9-4. So Jaguars leading that. Ravens, they got to win out, but they got to hope the Jaguars lose a couple games. And look who's in the hunt, the Chargers. All right, so they right there on your heels. So y'all got to step up, be on point. And then on the NFC East, Philly, they in there. Minnesota, they in there. And then as far as the wild card, we got the Falcons, Panthers, Rams, and the Saints. So that wild card is going to be pretty heavy. There's a lot of teams there. And then in the hunt, you got the Seahawks. Seahawks might be done because of that loss, but we'll see. We'll see. I think, we'll see what happens.
I think Packers, if they try to win every game.
And then the Packers, I got to look at their record. Who they play. I know they play the Vikings, and I think the Panthers one more time. So it's going to be tough.
But
people going to be gunning. I wouldn't bet against Aaron Rodgers. Definitely not, man. Definitely not. So we'll see what happens. Who you think is going to win tonight between the Patriots and Miami?
Oh, Patriots.
You got the Patriots?
Yeah.
I got the Patriots, but don't sleep on Miami. Miami always give Patriots a hard way to go. So I would love to see Miami pull this one out. Miami right now is still crying because they lost Stanton on the baseball side. So they need something to lift their spirit. So we'll see what happens. You know what's crazy we didn't talk about? That Buffalo game. Did y'all see that game with all that snow? You couldn't even see the lines. They had to kick the snow to the side just for the kicker's field goal. And Shady McCoy showed out, man. Shady McCoy did his thing, man. So we'll see what happens, man. That was definitely an impressive game, man. But football, man, why, love it, man. It's that time, man, when you love football, man. It's right now. Unfortunately, I'm not going to love football this coming Thursday night football, because they got the Patriots. They got the Colts playing. I don't know. It's two losing teams, man. I'm like, man, for real, who's going to watch that game? You know what I mean? Like, they should have canceled that game. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Nobody knew that the schedule was going to be as whack as it is right now. But ain't nobody trying to watch Thursday night football. So I guess I'll get something else done during that time.
Yeah.
All right. What we got going on next? What's next? What's next on the agenda?
College basketball.
College basketball. All right. So college basketball is getting a little interesting. It's still early. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the top 15. The thing that's surprising to me, the thing that kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit was somebody lost to Boston College. Who was that?
Duke.
Lost to Boston College. So that kind of dropped them, and this is like the ESPN ranking. So, they don't it ain't usually until Tuesday when they usually pull the the top 25 teams. So just based off what ESPN has on there right now, Arizona State, they got them as number 1. Villanova, we got them as number 2. Michigan State 3, and then Duke, they dropped to number 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, out of the top 15, when you look at the top 15 right there, anything stand out to you?
Kentucky is a little lower than usual.
Kentucky's number 9. You know, they 8-1. I mean, they're right there. They're okay right now. Tar Heels 9-1. Miami,
TCU is 10-0, but
TCU's 10-0, but number 11. It's mainly do with their competition, who they playing, but they should be a pretty good team. Let's see what happens.
Texas A&M 8-1.
Texas A&M 8-1. They playing good ball. So now that we're talking about the college team, let's talk about the top college basketball players right now. Who's your favorite right now? If you have a favorite right now, somebody say, "Hey, who's your favorite college player right now?" Who will you turn the TV on and watch play right now? Who's that player?
I need a new one.
You need a new one?
Because Buddy Hield was my last one, and I didn't really watch college last year.
Okay, and then I'm talking about this year though.
Yeah,
but Buddy Hield, he definitely had an amazing.
Yeah,
we didn't watch some games where Buddy Hield came in there and dropped like 7 threes. Yeah. I wish he'd have took that with him to the NBA, but that's another story.
I mean, he's doing decent, but
right now, this year, is anybody this year who's like, man, I got to watch. Whenever he play, I need to watch him play.
It's between Bagley and Sexton.
All right. And what team Bagley played for?
Duke.
And Sexton, who he played for?
Alabama.
All right. I kind of agree with you, Bagley. My boy right now is Miles Bridges, man, from Michigan State, man. And I'm not even going to front. I ain't know nothing about this dude right here, Trae Young. All right. So I got 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, right? I got 5 players listed here right now who I feel like is one of the best college basketball players who I feel next year draft, they're going to make some noise. Number 1 on my list, I got Oklahoma freshman, Trae Young. Came out of nowhere. I mean, this dude is leading the league, the nation in scoring and assists. 28, he's averaging almost 29 points and 9 assists per game. Freshman guard, Trae Young out of Oklahoma. Keep an eye on that boy. Who else we got there?
We got Miles Bridges. He's averaging 15, 7 rebounds. We got Bagley.
But Miles Bridges, who he played for? I know we said
Michigan State.
Michigan State, okay.
We got Bagley from Duke, averaging 21, 11 rebounds. And Villanova's Jalen Brunson, averaging 17, 3 rebounds and 5 assists. And then we got Colin Sexton, averaging 22 points and about 3 assists.
Okay. And now out of those 5 players, 3 of them are freshmen. That's crazy. 3 of them are freshmen. So we definitely going to keep an eye on it, see what happens come next year in the draft. I know right now they saying Bagley is going to be number 1 pick.
Yeah, because Michael Porter Jr.
is out for the season. That's who was projected to be number 1. Now, let me ask you this, though. A couple years ago, Kyrie Irving played a couple games for Duke, got hurt, was out for the rest of the year, and was the number 1 pick. You think the same thing is going to happen with Porter?
No.
No, why not?
Because he didn't play a game, did he?
The first game he played, 5 minutes in, he got hurt. But he was projected to be the number 1 pick. Just like Kyrie. Even though Kyrie played, 4 or 5 games before he got hurt, Kyrie didn't really do anything in college either. He was still the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So you think Porter should stay or go? Because he's out for the year. You know what kind of injury? I don't know what kind of injury.
I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of injury. We'll have to look that up. I'll get back to you guys next week on that. But it'll be interesting to see what they're saying, whether he should go or stay. We'll keep an eye on that and see what happens.
Low key, Kyrie's not even the best player in that draft.
Who was it?
Kawhi Leonard.
Well, Kawhi Leonard didn't really show out till a couple years later. I mean, if you measuring it,
Yeah.
Who else came out in that draft with Kyrie?
Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Isaiah Thomas.
Ooh, well, Isaiah Thomas got picked 30, if I think, no, 60.
60.
He was, yeah.
He only had one reporter come to him. Remember that? One reporter come up to him on draft day. And look where he is now. Just to say that.
Then that's
Hard work
motivation.
pays off.
Yeah, hard work pays off. That's motivation for you. But we'll keep a lot of it is height. Kyrie Irving got picked number 1 because of height, but he also went to Duke, a big school.
Yeah.
Porter,
Missouri,
which is still a big school, but he went there because his father's there coaching. It's a big difference, Missouri and Duke. So we'll see what happens. Still a lot of hype with him. Back injury? Thank you, my man, DJ Diamond K on the back end looking out for us. So he got a back injury. So that's not a bad injury. That's not like you're torn your ACL or something and people are concerned. So we'll see what happens, whether he should stay or go. I mean, if he's projected at least in the top 10, if I'm his family, I'm saying go.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. All right. Now let's go to one of your favorite sports, NBA. All right. So who you think is separating himself right now from the rest of the pack? Give me a couple teams in the Eastern Conference, and then give me a couple teams in the Western Conference. Who you think is separating themselves?
I'll say Boston and Cleveland from the East, and West. I say the Warriors and the Rockets basically separating themselves.
Yeah, I mean, and the Spurs. I'll put the Spurs in there. I mean, and plus they get Kawhi Leonard back tomorrow. So that's going to be a big boost for the Spurs. So that's pretty much everybody's picks right now. If you ask who's coming out of the East, people's telling you Boston and Cleveland. If you ask who's coming out of the West, people telling you Golden State and Houston. So right now, they playing up to their standards. A lot of other teams, they're not. We got to keep an eye on them. OKC, are they doing a little better? They're 12 and 13. Last 10 games. I don't have that here, but
home. Then.
Yeah,
they need to fix the road record.
Yeah, they need to fix both their records, road and home. But we'll see what happens. What about the Lakers? Lakers had a couple big wins lately. They beat Philly. That was a good game.
Yeah.
When you text me and I started watching that game. So you think Lakers? What you think? How ball's been playing lately? I mean, last time we was here, we was bashing them. So
I think he's doing better than people say he's doing.
He still sucks. What's crazy was I was watching the game with Philly, right? Fourth quarter. I don't remember the score, but it was kind of close. He wasn't on the floor. They didn't bring him in till 4 minutes and 51 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Now, he did have the assist of the game to win the game. So I will give him that. You know what I mean? He drove in like you're supposed to do. You get the defenders to bite, and he kicked it out to the hottest man, and he shot a 3, and then they won the game. So give him props for that. That's a big one. So we'll see what happens. What else? What else going on with basketball? And B,
before we get off Lonzo Ball, I would like to say that he leads all rookies in blocks. So that he stepped up his defense this year, and there's only 4 players averaging. He's one of 4 players averaging 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. And that's the other 3 are Draymond Green, LeBron, and Ben Simmons.
Good company. And I will say, I mean, he's almost averaging a triple-double. So, I mean, that speaks volume. I just want to see him to be more aggressive and, trusting your skills, man. Sometimes he be hesitating out there. And if you hesitate, they're not going to put you to play in the fourth quarter.
And I watched him. It looked like he was being more aggressive and pushing the ball up the court.
At the beginning of the game. And then at the end of the game, he kind of faded out.
I didn't watch the whole game.
Yeah.
I saw he was pushing the ball.
I mean, the boy got skills. I ain't going to sit here in front. He got skills. Big victory in my New York Knicks. Still going to be giving them a shout out, even though, we may not make it nowhere. But we still balling. We still balling.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see what happens. And before we get out of here, a couple things, man. I want to give you guys a little update on some local football championships that happened a couple weeks ago. So I definitely want to give some shout outs here. Class A, Dunbar beat Fort Hill 30-26. Class 2A, DeMarcus beat Gwynn Park 31. Damascus beat Gwynn Park 31-7. Take those last two.
Class 3A, Langanore beats Milford Mills Academy 28-27. Class 4A, Wise beat Quince Orchard 38-20.
All right. So, that's the local football championships. I know the nationals and all of that down in Florida was going on last week. I didn't really keep an eye on that, but I definitely want to keep, our DMV area in tune what's going on in this area. And then I also want to give you guys a JV update, right? We got the Prince in the building. So tell us, let's talk about JV. What's going on?
We lost our first game, but we won our last two.
All right, y'all lost. Who y'all lost the first game to?
Woodlawn,
okay. And then the last two games, who y'all play?
Aberdeen and
Century High School. All right. And for those who not following our page, Who You Think Sports on Instagram, you could definitely watch some videos. I post videos, the Prince. Now, I do want to talk about the last game, Century. Now, he is a freshman JV team. The starters are going to be the sophomores. He's going to have to earn his play. So the first game, I'm sitting there watching. They put the champ in for like 2 minutes. I'm like, damn, he's going to have to fight for his minutes. I see that. Being patient. Game 2, he did pretty all right. Got a little steal here, a little steal there. Missed a little layup. Actually scored. So he finally got his 2 points in game 2. Then game 3 against Century, right? First half, he didn't play. And we being patient. I don't have no problem with that. We're gonna earn ours. I don't care about that. I'm sitting there supporting the team. But I'm looking at, this little white boy, and I don't mean nothing by it, but that's what it is. Little white boy, right? He was busting ass. He had how many points he had the first half?
19.
19
Other
points.
21.
19 points in the first half. Now I saw Destin over there on the bench talking to his coach, like, Coach, put me in. I got him. Started the second half. I don't know what he said to him in the locker room, but started the second half. I see Destin on the court. I'm like, oh, man, he's starting the second half. Goes against same white boy I was telling you. First play, and I got that on Who You Think Sports on Instagram. Steal of the game. Stole the ball. Layup. Boom. How many points he had the second half?
2.
And it came from where?
On free throw.
On the free throw.
When I wasn't even in the game.
When he wasn't even in the game. Shut down defense. You know what I mean? So hard work pays off, man. I'm always talking to him. Be patient. Do all the little things that matter. Show the coaches you could do what you do. And, shut down defense, man. So, congratulations. So right now, y'all 2-1.
Yeah.
When is the next game?
Friday.
Who y'all play?
I'm not sure.
Dundalk High School at Franklin High School, 4 o'clock. Anybody want to come out? $5. You gotta make sure you come with $5 cash. They don't take cards. All right. Sorry, that's the JV update. Before we get out of this, let's end it with our top 5. All right. So our top 5 is the top 5 biggest trades in sports. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you my top 5. I'm gonna go with Thunder when they traded Harden. I thought that was a big trade. Just imagine if Harden would have stood. Then you got KD, and then you got Westbrook. That would have been a nice little dynasty. So that was a big trade. This one here, a lot of people don't talk about because I think a lot of people don't know the Kobe Bryant trade. Yeah. Kobe Bryant trade. I'm waiting for people to think a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Drafted by Charlotte.
Brady? What's good, Brady? Yeah, you beat me on fantasy, man. That's all right, man. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, so let me get back to it. What tell him?
He was drafted by the Hornets and got traded to the
Right.
Lakers.
So on draft night, he got drafted by Charlotte. And then Charlotte traded Kobe to the Lakers. So that's a trade because now look what Kobe's at now. To their defense, Kobe kind of made it known. Actually, Kobe was scaring people away saying, oh, I'll go back to China and play in China. And he actually scared the Nets away from picking him because the New Jersey Nets at that time could have picked him and they didn't. And then Charlotte said, you know what, we're going to pick him. And then he made it known, look, I don't want to play with y'all, kind of like Eli Manning did to the Chargers. And they traded him to the Lakers. So that was a big trade there. Another trade to me, one of my favorite baseball players, Ken Griffey Jr., got traded to Cincinnati. I was like, what? But come to find out, Cincinnati, that's where he's from. He wanted to finish his career in Cincinnati, but I thought that was a crazy trade. Another trade for me was Marshall Faulk when he got traded to the Rams. That was crazy. I couldn't believe the Colts let him go. He ended up winning the Super Bowl with the Rams. And then last but not least, my last trade here, when Seattle Mariners baseball here traded Randy Johnson to the Astros, one of the best pitchers in the game. So Hall of Fame pitchers. So those are my top 5 trades that I could think of. What was your 5?
Mine is Kevin Garnett for 5 players when he went to Boston.
Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Kyrie for Isaiah Thomas. Just now last season.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say Kyrie. He never got traded. Yeah. That was a big trade. I mean, that was a big trade.
Probably one of the biggest talks in the offseason.
Who you think is the winners and losers so far? Don't know yet. Isaiah Thomas didn't play.
Isaiah Thomas hasn't played, but right now,
looking like Boston. I mean, both of them. Yeah, but I think Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
I think Boston, bro. We'll see. Who else you got?
Dwight Howard.
Oh yeah, Dwight Howard when he got traded. I mean, which team? Because he got traded from like 19 teams.
When he got traded from the Magic.
From the Magics? Okay. When he got traded to the Magics. Okay. Who else?
Peyton Manning to the Broncos.
Peyton Manning to the Broncos. Okay.
And Brett Favre.
That was a big trade. That was crazy. I think he went to the Jets, the first trade.
Honestly, you could have did 5 trades from this last season in the NBA. This crazy all season.
Like who? Who else?
You could have said that Melo.
The Melo trade. Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. That was a big trade. Jimmy Butler was a big trade.
Boogie Cousins.
All-Star. Damn, that was a lot of big trades, man. So, all right, man, we're about to wrap this up, man. Again, I want to appreciate everybody, man, who tune in with us from week to week, man. And if you got anything that you want us to cover or anything like that, man, please let us know. We got a couple surprises coming up at the top of the year. I don't want to leak no information yet, but we are going to have some visitors come in here and talk to you guys, give you guys some knowledge and things of that nature. So, again, Who You Think Sports.
Paul George.
The Paul George trade.
Yeah, Paul George.
That was big. And, guys, man, everybody out there, man, don't forget, man, Radio on Fire, man, they broadcast over 278,000 viewers, man, per month. So if you want to advertise your product here, man, they got packages as low as $50, man. So just reach out. You can visit radioonfire.com/promo, get started. It's not hard to reach out, man. And again, Who You Think Sports, we out of here. See you next week. I'm Trey Verdejo. I represent the old school.
And I'm Destin Verdejo, and I represent the new wave.
Peace. Appreciate y'all.